What's up, guys? So today I've got 3 builds for Gareth Bale, 2 builds for Darren Fletcher, and 1 build for Bobby Robson.
Huh?
Or is it or is it Brian Robson? I don't know. Well, it was supposed to be Thomas Rzitzky in the pack anyway, according to the leaks. We're starting off with Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale does have edge crossing, so for the first build I went and put some good lofted pass onto him to make him a better crosser. You can still see he has good dribbling and good balance. So every build I recommend is gonna have 85 balance here to get the +3 boost on the 88 efficiency manager. Then his booster stats are to speed, stamina, lofted pass, and curl. So Konami definitely wants you to get this lofted pass and curl high to make that lofted pass effective. Next skill I'm looking at is a bit more into finishing, but mostly more points into speed. I don't think speed is majorly important for when he's on the ball, but when he's off the ball and he's trying to track back, it'll help a lot. And then obviously the kicking power is getting increased as well. And then the last skill, which is probably the skill I would recommend, particularly if you're going to play him in second striker there, is this one that has a lot higher dribbling and more finishing, lower passing. We didn't really bother leveling it. And then the dexterity is still at 88. Now the speed is a bit lower. You don't have the 90 kick power anymore. If you wanted to do that though, you could take off, you'd have to just choose between the finishing or get the 90s off the dribbling and then get the kick power up like that. And you'd have 1 point left over that can go into passing, but I do recommend keeping your dribbling at 90s. I do think 89 kick power will be fine. Now, previously, months ago, I used to actually recommend 84 finishing instead of 85. I felt like 84 got you the benefits too, so you could also go for that and then get the 90 kick power that way. So go for either of those builds. Some people think stats upgrade only in lots of 5, so like 80 and 85 are the only upgrades. I don't really believe that. I used to use 84 finishing as my kind of baseline, and I found it was effective months ago. I haven't really needed to level someone with that low finishing due to how high rated the cards have gotten, but this Bale isn't actually at a level where he's one of the better cards in the game, so I'm not too impressed with Gareth Bale. And another reason for this is his skills. If we take a look at his skills, he's missing like a couple of really important ones. He's missing double touch, true passing, and acrobatic finishing, which are necessary on a player like Bale. Then he's also missing first time shot, which is going to be very important as well if you want to play him at a high level. I do think you could. So you should put those 4 skills on at the start. You should also consider soul control to help on his knock on finesse shots. But if you go for that, you've got 5 skills taken up. So I want also on Gareth Bale, I want track back on him, I want cut behind and turn, I want gamesmanship. So it's a bit annoying that he doesn't start off with the meta skills as he should do, really. So if you're gonna go for soul control, you want to kind of sacrifice first time shot then and go for flip flap if you want that level 3 double touch. But whether you're playing Bale left mid or second striker, I do think track back will be effective on him. So it is something I would strongly recommend. Alright, moving on to Darren Fletcher, another player who doesn't look particularly amazing, and it's not that the stats over here are that bad, it's just that one stat here isn't great, actually two really. The one I'm thinking of mainly is the balance. The balance is too low. He does have decent dribbling, but the balance, even with those decent dribbling stats, won't be that effective. Yeah, also he's not the fastest. He's kind of got low speed. Now I only put 9 points in, but if I put more than 9, you're gonna have to sacrifice elsewhere. He does actually start off with quite good passing stats, to be fair, but as discussed in my how to train midfielders video, passing above 88 isn't really necessary. Then also I discussed in that video too why high dribbling stats, particularly for midfielders, aren't too important, and you'd rather actually have high balance, which he doesn't have. So he does look a bit of a disappointment, but he has got 96 aggression. I'm sure he'll be fine in game, but I don't think he's a player you'd want to be spending money on, really. So if we take a look at the other build, it's not too much different. The main difference is we got the dribbling up to 85 there by taking off a little bit of the speed and the acceleration. So because he has low balance, you're not going to be able to get it up to 80. Even though I did say high balance can compensate for low dribbling, I don't think low balance is going to be effective on 85 type possession ball control as much as it would be if you just ignored the balance and got the actual dribbling stats up higher themselves. Now Darren Fletcher's also missing a lot of kind of important skills. He's missing true passing first off, which is kind of a necessity on a centre mid or even a defensive midfielder. He's also missing track back, so that high aggression is kind of not being utilized to its high ability or highest ability because he doesn't have track back. So definitely put them 2 skills on. After that, you've kind of got a bit more freedom. You can go for gamesmanship, you can go for low lofted pass, particularly if you're playing them deeper, so as a deep centre mid or a DMF. And then there's 2 other skills you can go for, aerial superiority and acrobatic clearance. Would I go for both of them? I would only go for both of them if you know for a fact you're going to play them in DMF with deep line instruction on. If you're only if you're not gonna know for certain if that's kind of the tactic you're gonna use him in, you can probably go for one of them. Probably aerial superiority if he is in midfield. So I'd only recommend them two. If you know you're going to put deep line on him, and then you'll move it into centre back when you don't have the ball. And then moving on to the player, it is Bobby Robson. So Bobby Robson is a whole player, and the problem with him is he can only play centre mid, fully trained. Now obviously you can put position trainers and get him into AMF too, but it is a bit of an annoyance that he starts off only being able to play centre mid. His stats are quite decent though. He's got really good pass stats. That's the highest I'd go, 88. Got okay finishing. I actually find for a centre midfielder, if you have 80 finishing, you feel very clinical. He got great dribbling stats, good defensive stats, and he's not got good kicking power, but he's not the fastest. He doesn't have he's nowhere near Mateus in terms of speed and acceleration, and his balance is like it's good enough, but it's not something that he excels at. So again, kind of a disappointing player. Now at the moment, his booster isn't updated on eFootball Hub, so it's +2 on defensive awareness, tackling, speed, and stamina. So that will get his stamina up to 95, which might be a new threshold. His tackling will go up to 80. Awareness won't go up to 80, unfortunately, though. And then his speed will go to 84, so it will be a little bit better. But again, he looks like a good player, but not enough to be spending money on, especially with how disappointed I think Gareth Bale looks. And it becomes more disappointing when you look at his skills. So in my How to Train Midfielders video, I'd said how one-touch pass is a necessary skill for centre midfielders, and so is interception and true passing. So he doesn't have interception or true passing, which is a major disappointment. He also doesn't have long range shooting, so high kicking power and decent finishing. It's like, what's the point in having it if he doesn't have long range shooting? So you're gonna need to put them three skills on. You're also gonna need to put double touch on. If actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. You're not gonna need to put double touch on, but it would help a lot. But you probably should be putting track back on. I didn't say it was a necessary skill in my How to Train Midfielders video, but I do actually think track back. If you're spending €150 on a player, which is what spinning these guys cost essentially, because you don't know when you're gonna get them in the pack, you would need a centre midfielder at this point in the game with track back. And then those skills, if you put them on, it limits, you can't choose anything else. Like there's other skills like cut behind and turn, which would be good, gamesmanship, Marseille turn, etc, etc. So overall, quite a disappointing pack. I don't think I will be spinning for Gareth Bale. I do think Bobby Robson's better than Rosicky would have been, but Gareth Bale, I don't like this version. I want a prime Real Madrid version or a prime Tottenham version. I feel like this isn't prime Bale at all. It's more focused on him being a left winger. I want him in the middle where he played at his best. And then just the problems with Bobby Robson of only being able to play one position and the lack of skills necessary ones, the same with Darren Fletcher. So yeah, again, not the greatest pack. I definitely recommend skipping this and waiting for eFootball 25.